Look forward to your stewardship there at Treasury, along with Secretary Yellen. Just a comment on my distinguished colleague's point about state. We often forget state, local, and county governments. The numbers that we have seen from states don't include the fourth quarter of last year or anything in this year. So there is a continuing challenge. I can tell you that from a New Jersey perspective that had one of the highest rates of infections and deaths in the nation as a result of COVID. But counties and municipalities, which are also part of the equation of the administration's plan, they have received very little and have great challenges as a result of COVID. So I commend that to people's attention. We had a good conversation yesterday. I just want to go through some of the highlights. In my role as the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, we have a handful of peaceful diplomacy tools, the use of our international opinion that we can generate, the use of our aid and trade to induce people and nations to act in a certain way, and the denial of aid and trade and access to our financial institutions as sanctions. If confirmed, would you commit to using sanctions as a... I'm sorry, I can't hear myself.
Colleagues, guys, Senator Menendez having problems hearing himself.
Would you commit to using sanctions as a foreign policy tool?
Senator, I completely agree with you that sanctions are a tool and they need to be in service of a foreign policy strategy, and I look forward to doing that and to working with you in the committee to enhance those tools.
Thank you. And if confirmed, would you commit that you and your staff will meaningfully consult with and provide advance notice to Congress on any significant changes to sanctions programs administered by Treasury, including, for example, Iran, Russia, Cuba, just to mention some?
Senator, I look forward to consulting with you and members of the committee and Congress on any changes that we make.
Thank you. Now, as you know, the 2017 Trump tax bill gutted the state and local tax deduction, and Republicans used the money from this tax increase on middle-class families in many states, New Jersey, New York, California, and others, to give even bigger tax breaks to corporate America and the very wealthy. Repealing this partisan attack on what I call blue-chip states like New Jersey that spur innovation, that drive the nation's economy, that subsidize most of other states. We'd be very happy to get every dollar we pay to the federal government back and ask for no more. But we have many of our colleagues who get billions of dollars to their states more than they pay the federal government. So this is one of my top priorities this year. According to the U.S. News & World Report, New Jersey has the second best public school system in the country and the highest per capita income in the country. In other words, we do a great job of educating our children and giving them the ability to reach their potential. And it's not just because New Jerseyans are smarter than their fellow Americans. It's because we invest. Well, I would say they are, but I reserve that. My colleague from Indiana is chuckling. But it's because we invest in our people. And because we invest in our schools and roads and bridges and other critical infrastructure, we're one of the hardest hit states by the SALT cap. So while I support a full repeal of the SALT cap, I do appreciate the Biden administration's plan, which would significantly restore the deduction. It would be a big improvement over the status quo. So just a couple of quick questions. Do you think it's just a coincidence that states hardest hit by the cap, like New Jersey, are also the same states that have some of the best public education systems, highest per capita incomes, and also contribute most to the federal government?
So, Senator, I know that those things are true because states like New Jersey have made investments in those things that have been needed and well-founded, and look forward to working with you on this important issue.
Does it make sense to punish taxpayers in states like New Jersey that choose to make investments in their people and, as a result, pay more to the federal government than they take out?
Senator, again, I think it's critical to work with you on this issue, and I'm looking forward to doing it.
We'll look forward to working with you to fulfill the administration's plan. Finally, in 2018, I led the effort to pass the Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act, which passed Congress unanimously. One section of that bill requires the Treasury Secretary promote anti-trafficking policies at international financial institutions, such as integrating anti-trafficking interventions into projects or requiring government action against trafficking as a condition of making loans. Would you commit to advance anti-trafficking efforts at the international financial institutions and regularly brief my staff on the work that's being done?
Senator, I'm committed to continuing this important work and to regularly briefing your staff.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Menendez. Senator Young.